This is a disaster for the Edmonton Oilers following an 8-3 drubbing by the Dallas Stars in their first game back at Rogers Place following a 7-game road trip. It goes from bad to worse, and the Oilers are looking very directionless after having some glimmer of hope following the last game of the road trip against the Florida Panthers. We will break down everything from last night in more. Make sure you stay tuned here to Oilers Digest for much more of the Oilers this season. I mean, Stan Bowman is going to get very, very busy real soon, or at least we hope, and hopefully you're staying busy by hitting that subscribe button down below for any and all Oiler news. Now, before the Oilers left for their road trip, Kris Knoblauch was saying after the 9-1 loss to the Colorado Avalanche, I definitely hope this was rock bottom for us. I hope it wakes up a lot of guys and they come back home and they lose 8-3 to the Dallas Stars. Yes, 8-3. I'll just, I'll leave that up for a couple seconds. I mean, what is this team doing so far this season? They go, one step forward and they take, 1,500 steps back when it's trying to find out, the identity for this team, trying to figure out, okay, yeah, there's a little bit of a roster turnover following the Stanley Cup Finals, keep things fresh with the team, but nothing from this team suggested, yeah, okay, they're going to turn the corner and do something real soon here. I mean, I'm not even going to show you the scoring summary. I'm just going to show you what happened in the first period. Dallas going up 4-0 there, and that led to the end of Stuart Skinner for that night there, and then Dallas adding on 2 in the second and third there. I mean, there was one bright spot, the one and only bright spot, and that was the guy playing his second career NHL game, Connor McDavid, with his first goal of his NHL career, and he was easily the best Oiler all night long, and there was no competition whatsoever. It was him, from start to finish. All gas, no breaks for Connor McDavid. We didn't really see a whole lot against the Florida Panthers with him only playing 5.5 minutes, but that almost got, bumped up, significantly, much more, almost playing 13 minutes last night against the Stars, 7 hits, 1 block there. So again, that was the only guy on the ice for the Edmonton Oilers that I was like, okay, yeah, he actually gives a damn tonight. Couldn't say that about anybody else. It was so disjointed, disconnected, lost. Just, they looked like, a shell of themselves, a remnant of the Edmonton Oilers compared to the Edmonton Oilers. McDavid, Draisaitl, almost said Nugent-Hopkins, but he didn't even play last night. Bouchard, Ekholm, just, all the guys that you would expect to step up and go, okay, yeah, we're back at home, got to get back in the win column. Nothing. Not a peep. Nothing at all there, except, for number 64, the last guy who wore number 64, Nail Yakupov, didn't do anything that Clattenburg did, so he's putting some respect back to that number. But again, the goalies, it is the goaltenders. I know you're going to say, yeah, it's the team defense, but two things can be true. The defense and the goalies both were awful last night. Just a whole lot of, the team being soft around both Pickard and Skinner there. They weren't, clearing guys out. They were just letting them walk right in, letting rebounds jump right back to the Dallas Stars. So, yeah, okay, I'm not going to put it all on the goalies there. Some of it was on the defense, but you can just tell when this team is deflated when, again, the first, couple of shots, first 4 goals in the first period on Stuart Skinner there, 4 on 8 to be exact. It's right in front of me right here, a 500 save percentage in the first period. Of course, yeah, you're going to be deflated, absolutely there, but, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl sort of, not throwing them under the bus there. They still have, faith in their goalie, or what appears to be in front of the media. I really feel like goaltending is a team thing. It's tough for goalies to look good when the group in front of them is not playing well. I don't really care who it is. When the team is playing in front of them is not playing up to their standards, it's tough for a goalie to look good. I felt bad for both of them tonight. I know Connor McDavid saying, I don't really care who it is, sort of. Trying to respond to the rumors that the Oilers play better in front of Pickard compared to Skinner there. Okay, there's a little bit of truth to that, but, Connor McDavid himself saying, it doesn't matter who you put in net, prime Patrick Waugh, prime Dominic Hasek, it doesn't matter who you put between the pipes there, that Oiler team in front of them, if they're not performing up to their standards, yeah, it's going to be a rough night. Leon Draisaitl, adding on to that sentiment, I mean, what are they supposed to do? They're part of the team too, and I'm sure they would tell you themselves that they can be better at times, but there's not much they can do. We're giving up grade A look after grade A look. You can't expect a goalie to stop every single one of them and win the game 3-1. It doesn't work like that. We just have to be so much better for them. And again, yeah, that's absolutely true. The Oilers can be better, but at the same time, when you're used to your goalies, letting the first, one or two shots in every game, yeah, that's going to be deflating, absolutely there. And when, the Dallas Stars are all over the Oilers, you can see, it's quite the contrast here. You can see the left side of the screen. You can't see the blue paint whatsoever in front of either Pickard or Skinner there. The Stars getting into the dirty areas. Meanwhile, the Oilers on the right side, whatever happens, with this team. They just, trying to get through the 60 minutes without anything drastically bad happening, like an injury, even though I do believe Trent Frederick did miss some time with an injury last night there. I thought he was benched. No, he was just injured. But that's just a tale of two teams. The Stars smelling blood in the water, especially, Glenn Gulletson, their new head coach, wanting to, prove something to his former team with the Oilers. But at the same time, it's like, okay, the Oilers and Stars, they've seen each other so many times over the past couple of years. The rivalry trying to brew up, but it was just looking like, the late 90s, early 2000s when the Mike Modano and Joe Nieuwendyk teams rolled into Edmonton and won very, very easily there. But this team, I'll say before, I've said it before and I'll say it again, is very lost. I mean, this is just worth 1,000 words here. You can see Brett Kulak being outmanned by almost three Dallas Stars there. The game still very much in reach, even though Dallas is up 2-0 in the first period. Brett Kulak trying to hustle along the boards there, trying to win that puck battle. And then you can see on the right side, Leon Draisaitl staring at the puck there, not wanting to get involved in that whatsoever. And then Trent Frederick saying, hey, guess what? The puck is almost in our zone. I'm going to go for a change, guys. And that led to the 3-0 Nathan Bastian goal on the 2-on-1. Sure, you would have loved to save from Stu there, but at the same time, the whole team, again, this just, sums it all up. Very disconnected and disjointed there. And the Sportsnet stats page on Twitter last night was having a field day with hating on the Edmonton Oilers. Every single one of these. I was like, yeah, no, this makes sense. I mean, the Oilers' .860 team save percentage is their lowest through 25 games since their inaugural NHL season in 1979-1980 there. And I mean, .860 was the norm back in 1980. So to have this in 2025, just absolutely brutal there. And I mean, the Oilers, the decade of darkness, those had some, bad goalies, but nothing as bad as a supposed, in quotations, cup contender there. I mean, and again here, just one after another from the Sportsnet stats page. The Oilers are the only team this season to allow 7 goals on 3 separate occasions. Mind you, the Washington game, 2 of those goals were empty netters, but still 7 goals on 3 separate occasions. Hockey teams shouldn't be constantly giving up touchdowns, and that's what Edmonton is doing right now. The Elks have their off season, but the Oilers are taking over where they left off, and the Oilers are the only team this season to trail by 5+ goals through 2 periods on multiple occasions. Again, that the other instance was the Avalanche game. 6-1 after the second period. And for the first time since 2013, the Oilers faced a 4-goal deficit through 20 minutes for the first time since January 22nd, 2013 against the San Jose Sharks there. So again, all 4 of those just reflecting, how bad these Oilers have been this season, even though their record is like something like 10 wins, 10-5 at the bottom of the screen with 25 points. It's just, again, inconsistency from this team has plagued them all season long there. They show, again, some sort of hint of hope. It's like, okay, yeah, they're turning the corner, and then they lay this egg 8-3 against the Dallas Stars there. And if you wanted to see a goaltending change anytime soon, I don't think you'll be seeing that from Frank Saravalli. The Oilers wanted to make a goaltending change coming out of the road trip, but the player stood up for Calvin Pickard, and that just sort of speaks volumes to not only how good of a guy Calvin Pickard is. I mean, what I've heard in interviews there and the locker room videos, like, yeah, he's a great guy, but at the same time, you don't win Stanley Cups by being friendly with each other. This isn't the friendship cup. You got to do whatever means necessary to win the Stanley Cup there, and if that's, cutting bait with, good guys in the locker room, so be it. So the Oilers just kind of asking for, by standing up for a guy who just, other than, one solid game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, just hasn't been up to snuff there, and the fans are getting sick and tired of it. And with that performance last night, I mean, Stan Bowman, he's kind of has his hands tied here with the latest on the tandem with Saravalli saying they got until Christmas. Bowman is going to afford a few weeks runway. If it's not better, then we're going to start to see what Bowman has to make something happen there. And well, I think we all saw last night what's going to happen there, but Leon Draisaitl, not just putting it all on the goalies, we're clearly not on the same page as a group, and then all of a sudden, a lot of things get exposed. That's when you are on the same page, don't get exposed. We're just not in sync as a group, and we have to figure that part out. We're nearly 30 games in and still don't seem to have it down or know what we are. I really don't know what to say. It was just not good enough. Now, the bad, we don't have to, go through this until Saturday against the Seattle Kraken. But the good news is, there still is, time. I know I'm trying to, provide some hope here, even though it's dwindling. But there is some time for the Oilers to get back on track and say, hey, it's time to get serious, even though they said that time and time before. I mean, fool me once, right? But the Oilers in Kraken, 2 o'clock Mountain. It's an afternoon game on Saturday, the Thanksgiving schedules, in the United States. They're kind of throwing everything off. I mean, last night was the only game in the NHL, and what a game that was. I mean, we were on display for all the other 30 teams in the NHL to sort of realize, hey, Edmonton's a bit of a dumpster fire this year, aren't they? But, it's always nice to, get embarrassed in front of every other team. But the Oilers in the Kraken, not doing too shabby themselves. So, again, it'll be a good test for the Oilers, divisional-wise, against Seattle in a barn, which they've had, quite a lot of success in for Seattle in the Climate Pledge Arena. But that is it for today's video, folks. Let me know down in the comments what you all had to say about last night's game. It's going to be a lot of thoughts down there, and so give me everything you have to say about these Oilers at this stage of the season. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. I'm Matt.